It's better.
So we've started recording.
Great. Well, at 6 p.m., I think we will be missing one board member for emergency. So I'll go ahead and, at the behest of Dr. Kingsley, asked me to go ahead and run the meeting while he's virtually attending. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And if anybody has the agenda, screen, that's fine. Just want to make sure I don't miss anything at the beginning. Oh, God bless you. Thank you. Let's go ahead and we'll all stand and have the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any guests that need introductions?
Yes, I do have a nursing student here today. She'll be watching part of the meeting. Lynn Simon, she's with Missouri Western State University. So she's doing her senior capstone here with us in public health.
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
And then we have Kenny Hales, who will be our first speaker, but I think most of you know him, but he'll be up after the minutes are approved. So
Okay,
we'll hear from him here.
so I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the August 21st meeting of the board.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from August 21st, 2025.
Second. I'll second.
Okay, I wasn't here, so.
That's okay. All right. Moved and seconded. We'll do a roll call vote. Dr. Kingsley?
Yes.
Susan?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Michael Chaffee, yes. The minutes are approved. We'll entertain a motion to approve the special session board meeting on August 28th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the special session on August 28th, 2025.
I'll second.
All right, roll call vote. Dr. Kingsley?
Yes.
Susan Coley, yes.
Kim Slaney, yes.
Michael Chaffee, yes. Minutes are approved. I'll go ahead and recognize Mr. Kenny Hales for our annual audit presentation.
Thank you again for having me provide your audit services. I got to apologize right off the top to Dr. Kingsley because I did not get a PDF copy to Andrew before. Poor planning on my part. I was in a place today where apparently the internet is optional. So what can I say? But overall, like I say, everything's in good shape. If you want to turn to those in attendance here, turn to page 13. Really, it's page 14. We'll start there. So page 14 is your statement of activities, changes in net position, Dr. Kingsley. Your change in net position for the year, three numbers from the bottom, was 509,288, which is pretty comparable to what you had last year as far as activities. There really weren't any large jumps or changes on the expense side. Depreciation obviously went up as you're starting to capitalize everything that's incurred in the building in the transfer from moving from 2 units to 1 and then remodeling this fine facility. So that number went up. Taxes went up. The tax revenue side, the intergovernmental went up a little bit as well. So really, operational wise, it's kind of what I expected to see that way. If you want to flip back a page 13 is your statement of net position. And the only thing that I'd say you're in a good position as far as cash and cash equivalents. You're not pending anything, any operational shortcomings. If you have, if we have some kind of disaster that way, and you're not able to use the facilities for a while, you have cash to operate to cover all the fixed costs, all those kind of things. The tax receivables is just a number that's functional, a function of the county revenues as they come in each year, and that's pretty stable as far as that goes. The long-term note payable in the liability section is really kind of your focus. You've been making payments, well into that, making extra payments and that sort of thing to knock that down as soon as possible. But like I say, your cash flow, because it's somewhat regular, because of the programs, the grants you have coming in, as well as the patients you have coming through the facility each day, is pretty steady that way. So there's no problem that way as far as cash flow opportunities goes. As far as the operations, like I say, it's really dependent upon if you want to flip back to page 31. Page 31 and 32, Michelle has spent a lot of time on this, trying to put this together. The programs as they come through, and for Dr. Kingsley, this is just the schedule of expenditures of federal awards. So that's the money that the feds give you either through directly or through the state, that come through state programs that are then expended throughout the year. This doesn't represent the revenue side, but it's actually the like I said, the expenditure side. So you'll have some timing issues as far as if there's funds that were received in December but spent in January, they'll show up, 1 year and kind of throw off things that way. This number on page 32, the total expenditure of federal awards was $844,000. That was about $300,000 less than it was in the previous year, and that's just a function of the programs and going forward, as well as the ones that dropped off from the year before. So nothing really, more or less the same programs. Some of them shrank as far as what was available. Some of them you just didn't have the need for, as the services from the facilities changed. So that was initially when we came up with that number. I kind of like, oh, are we missing something? There's something out there that we didn't capture? But Michelle went through it really well, and I was able to follow her work as far as what was involved in that. And so we're pretty confident in that number. But that's really all I've got. Like I say, everything's pretty much for initial times in the new facility. You made the transition. You're kind of everything's ready to go and in use for the first full year. So there was always things in the last time as you've moved in that you're still doing. I think they were still putting these TVs up last year when I was here. So everything's operational. So you're kind of off and running.
All right.
And I know, like I say, you're getting this today, and like I say, Dr. Kingsley, I'm sure when I get home, I'll send Andrew a PDF copy that I can forward to you. And as always, if you have questions on any of this, if it's something you want to address, send it to Andrew and he'll get it to me. I'll get you an answer. If it's something you want me to come back and address, I'd always happy to do that as well.
And I sent Dr. Kingsley pictures of the picture
Okay.
you were talking about.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions? I love me a precise presentation. Thank you. That's great. No, it's right. Perfect. Thank you.
I love giving them.
I like that. Okay.
Thanks.
If there's no old business, I see none on the agenda, I'll go ahead and suggest we move on to director's report.
Thank you, Kenny.
Appreciate you.
So I kind of talked about it last month, just about the ongoing trips into this building and how we continue to see increased foot traffic. The only thing I did here was I did change in your graph, if you're wondering, I did learn how to change 2020 to the front and 2025 on the back. So if you're wondering why now it starts rising up instead of going down, I learned how to change my graph in Excel. So that was super exciting. So as most of you know, Dan, when he was here, did a lot of our facility stuff. And really, that switched over to Cindy and I when he left primarily. But it is something that we are trying to get Taylor acclimated to. It is something that she doesn't have a lot of background in. So as things come up, we say, hey, Taylor, this X thing happened. It's super exciting. You should totally get involved with this. And Taylor's like, that sounds awesome. I'd love to do that. It doesn't usually sound like that when she says it, but so on August 25th, one of our hot water heaters started malfunctioning. And usually at my house, when that happens, I have to take a cold shower. Here, what it meant was we started getting really, really hot water and steam was coming out and it was like super heated water. And as you know, we have a lot of children that come in, a lot of the public, and that's really dangerous to burn people with scalding hot water. So we turned off the water, we reset the hot water heater. Taylor was called in to remedy the issue. She came to our rescue. Frank was here that day. They flushed both the hot water heaters, which was kind of the first thing. And how it was set up was one hot water heater. They're both identical. They were both replaced when we got to the building. Both 120 gallons, both electric. One feeds the entire building except for the old kitchen, which was the cafeteria kitchen. And then the other was just isolated to that. The one we use every day didn't have very much sediment. The one that was just for the kitchen, ton of sediment. We probably ran that thing for 45 minutes just getting the sediment out of it. Called in a plumber, but actually I think Taylor called the plumber, arranged it for the next day because it was still malfunctioning after, it looked like it might work okay. And then it started overheating again. So we just turned it off. By that time, it was like 4:00. Plumber came, it was the contactor. So it's an electrical switch, basically, fairly easy fix. So they replaced that, replaced the temperature relief valve. It's a temperature and pressure relief valve. At that point, it had gone off like a bunch of times, so it needed to be replaced. It was $596. One of our concerns was we have two hot water heaters, only using one. And so when the plumber was here, I think it was Frank Taylor and I had a discussion with him, said, what would it take? We don't want to lose the functionality of ever just isolating one of the water heaters for the kitchen, because the big difference is for most of the building, we want a max temp of 120. When you operate the kitchen, you want a max temp of 150, and you want to be able to maintain that. But right now, we're not using that kitchen, so we kind of like to use both hot water heaters. So if we can plumb it, so there's a series of gate valves that you can run both, and if you want, you'll be able to switch them. So that is actually what we ended up doing. It cost $1,400 to do that, but that'll do a couple things, and it's done. They did that, I think, a week later.
Yeah.
September 4th.
Okay, thank you for reading my notes. That's why I have them. But they were able to go ahead and do that. So now we have redundancy. We have more capacity. We don't really need more capacity than 120 gallons, but we have that redundancy. And if that were to happen again, when we turn one off, the other will be able to provide us hot water for the clinic in different places. And there won't be any urgency truly in getting the other one fixed, like within 6 hours or 12 hours or on a weekend or anything like that. So that, kudos to Frank and to Taylor, kind of one of probably her first 2 or 3 things that she kind of had to manage on the physical plant side of things. Thank you to Cindy. She knew someone who ended up, the plumbing company, our factory trained with the brand of water heater that we had. So that worked out really good all the way around. And it was a fairly reasonable cost. We're still working on some of the HVAC side. They still haven't gotten their check because we are still finding issues that I want them to fix. So that's an ongoing thing. Although temperature wise, humidity wise, best we've had since we've been in the building. But there are things that before I sign off and lose our leverage, they need to finish up and fix for us. So go ahead and scroll down. Revenue, we are at 66.7% of the year. We have collected 80.8% of our revenue, or $3,182,022. Our expenditures, we are at 64.6%, or $2,721,914. So right on track. Our money market account, we are about $303,000, $303,920, so almost $304,000 less than where we were at last year. But like I said last month, that's all planned. We're putting more into our reserve, as much as we can into the lease purchase. And if you look, we are still about exactly where we were at in 23 and 22. So good, being good fiscal stewards. Our lease purchase, you may have taken a double take when Kenny was pointing out the page about what our balance was. And some of you may have looked and said, hey, I thought we were paid off more than that. Well, that was as of December 31st, 2024, because that was year end. We are actually about 150,000 or more. I forget what he said, but we're at 2,147,449. I don't know if you all looked at it that way. I looked at that number and I'm like, no, we're okay. We are at the end. Go ahead and scroll down. One addition.
Hey, Andrew, can I jump in real quick?
Sure.
So with interest rates dropping, I know that I think we dropped a quarter point, and we'll drop a couple more times before the end of the year. We probably will need to figure out what to do with the money market account and see if there's better ways to make more money and whatnot, because the interest rates are going to just keep dropping and dropping and dropping. So I don't know if that's something we can discuss in finance committee or what, but we need to start making plans. If it keeps dropping, hopefully, it's good for us as individuals. I don't know if it'd be good for us for our money, but something to think about.
Cindy just gave me face signals that just said that's the plan for our next 2 finance committee meetings. So she said she's all over it. So maybe you should just let her take care of this.
That's totally fine with me.
I would never say that, but Cindy is a loose cannon. No, that was on our plan to look at how we can use MOSA to the full extent to get the best return on our investment as possible.
Yep.
And I think Susan actually knows that we had intended to have them come this month, but we weren't able to line that out. So we'll be discussing that next month. So great minds think alike. You and Cindy. So something exciting, I had talked to you all a little bit last month about the new survey that we were doing for our customers as they come in the building. This will be in addition to my report. It may change a little bit since this is the first one, But as you can kind of see, we got 35 surveys for the month of August. I think Taylor or I may have mentioned last month, one of the things that we wanted to do, and Dr. Kingsley probably chimed in too, is one of the things when you do these surveys is making sure you are getting responses so you have something to work on from our customers and have some feedback that we can do some constructive things. And if you only get one or two surveys, you're not going to have much to really work with. So 35, pretty good response. We are we're having a drawing for a gift card. We did have the drawing. Dustin, did you coordinate that?
Jill,
Jill did.
was kind of managing all that. So yeah, but we did, I set up like the table to randomize it.
Okay. So we did give out the gift card. So we felt like 35 was pretty good for our first month. September's actually down a little bit, and that may have to do with just a little bit less traffic. But as you go down, so just some interesting things about what people came for. A lot of people came for healthcare. So a lot of immunization visits in August, not surprising. A lot of birth and death certificates. Most people drove themselves. Some people came with friends or family members, a couple insurance rides. Now, Dr. Kingsley and I met on Friday, and he was very skeptical about this. He wanted to know if I was paying people, but so how would you rate our service? So 5 people out of the 35 rated us at 4 stars, 30 rated us at 5 stars. How easy was it to use our services? 3 stars was 1, 4 stars was 2, 32 rated us at 5 stars. And if you're curious about the 3 stars, as you drill down and look at the data, it was actually ending up, it was a WIC usage of the card at the store. So it really wasn't us in particular. It was using the WIC card and having to like a glitch and having to rescan all the stuff at the store. How friendly and helpful were the staff? 5 stars, 34, 4 stars, 1. And then what did you like about your visit? These were just the written in comments.
Clean and friendly.
So just friendly staff, clean, a lot. So basically, in a nutshell, it was the building was awesome and the people were super friendly and awesome. And then what can we do to improve? My favorite was on this was nothing, y'all good, was my favorite. And there were quite a bit about that. One of the ones was being open on Fridays, that was for WIC, but pretty much all the WIC departments to be able to serve later into the evenings. They are almost across the state, all open Monday through Thursday, so they can stay open late. Dr. Kingsley, do you have comments? Because you had quite a few for me on Friday.
No, I just want to make sure there's no responder bias is all. And you pretty much said that the gift cards and whatnot are separate from the actual survey itself. So hopefully these are truly honest answers. And if they are, that means we have elite customer service, right? Which is pretty cool. That we are not the DMV by any stretch of the imagination. So whatever we're doing, and if this is real, which it sounds like it is, keep doing the good stuff that you're doing.
And to kind of go along with that, I think the number one, how people found out about our services was a referral from a family friend or a family member. So that's, word of mouth is a really great thing.
Well, speaking of family members, this is probably a just time to bring it up. I had a relative of mine inquire about when we're going to advertise about our flu vaccination times and things. And I said, I don't know, but I'll ask. So with this great customer service, I didn't know if it's a good time to ask about that, just so I know how to answer them.
So you have two choices. He'll actually be talking about that
That's fine.
later tonight. It's an agenda item. So
Great.
if that works.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, perfect, perfect. As long, I just didn't want to forget about it.
Any other questions?
I just want to clarify one thing, and I think I hopefully I speak for the other board members. This is pretty spectacular, and I hope we're telling everybody, all our employees, that they're doing a great job, and we're reinforcing their good behaviors because this is phenomenal. So
But we got to keep doing it because we always have to have a feedback loop. And obviously, and I'm assuming that if there's a concern about the phone number on the website or things like that, they were looked at to try to determine if it's user error or something we can improve on it.
Yeah, I did get a call. I was thinking about the food handler's license. And I didn't know if that on the website, it looks like there's a comment here. When I called the phone number on the website, I was not able to speak to anyone about my food handler's license.
So Dr. Kingsley and I met in person on Friday.
Okay,
And so I actually called the main number
okay,
just to see what would happen.
okay.
And on the third ring, they answered something like that. So, but I think the number that's on the website is actually to someone's desk. So we are going to change that number to
Okay.
just revert back to the main number. So we can just transfer, like, it is a shortcut, but we know we have a number that someone always answers.
Okay,
So then we can transfer, or if it's an easy question, we can answer it. So what Taylor will tell you, and now she has changed paths a little bit, but when she was over accreditation, what she would tell you, and this is actually a public health accreditation board requirement, is to do these customer service surveys. What she would tell you is that is the whole purpose of doing this, is to identify
find out.
quality improvement areas of places where you can improve. And so like going to whoever said it, and it may have been you, Dr. Chape, but finding these things or you, Susan, I'm not sure. But whoever said, finding these things and then trying to remedy and fix them, that is the whole purpose of why we do it. And that is actually something we get scored on. Even after we get accredited, we get looked at through the process of reaccreditation. How many times did you find things through your survey efforts of things you fixed? So some of these things, like a phone number thing, yes, that is super easy.
Yeah.
And we get to mark it down and check mark, we totally did that. And so we love those, where there's other things that are so much more complex that those are hard to fix. A phone number, oh, we're all over that. So that's low hanging fruit that we love.
Great.
And I think we mentioned a little less than a year ago, we started a quality improvement committee. So we meet monthly and we have a few different areas that we take information from, but this is going to be one of the areas that feeds information in for potential quality improvement projects. Like you said, yeah, the number thing, that's pretty easy to fix. So that might not be like a major project, but that might just be a quick little fix.
Yeah.
Okay, so accreditation. So we are getting closer and closer to accreditation. So we've been working on a lot of things. We are getting pretty close. I think the biggest things that we have left are our plans. So there's about 8 plans that we need to have completed. We presented the strategic plan last month, and I think that was really good. So we're trying to do our other plans in kind of a similar vein where they're kind of the same structure, same layout, that kind of help literate. easy to see and understand. We've also been working on our policies and procedures. We have a few people who were, some of them were former interns, and a couple of people doing some part-time work for us, working on some policies and procedure, writing and editing. And we've reached out to all of the counties that have been accredited in Missouri to get copies of their policies and procedures, just to get ideas and to kind of help make sure that we're on the right track and that our policies and procedures are in line with the FAB, the Public Health Accreditation Board. So we're working on that, and that's kind of right now the biggest thing that's taking a lot of time is those plans and policies. As far as Andrew didn't mention it, but we did have people from Randolph County come at the end of August, and we gave them a tour. They kind of wanted to see what we had done with the building. They're redoing their building. So we are.
Where's Randolph County?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Moberly,
Yeah.
so just north of Columbia.
Okay.
So they came and visited. They're redoing their building. So we just some of our management staff had lunch with them, and we gave them a tour of the building, and we met with some of the different people and talked about different things and shared some ideas and stuff. Okay, thank you. Andrew already mentioned the water heater. So then a couple other things. So I was nominated for the Northland Health Alliance executive board. So now I'm going to be the secretary on that board. And then also I was elected to treasurer for the Missouri Public Health Association. So I went to my first meeting for that today, actually, and I guess technically officially take over next week at our the Joint Public Health Conference. So looking forward
Congratulations,
to
Taylor.
Congratulations.
those.
More unpaid jobs.
I know. That's all I need is more boards to count.
$1.25 an hour.
And one of her fellow board members embarrassed her today and said, "You're not officially on the board, so you can't make a motion."
That was him.
really rude.
That's Andrew.
She could try. Doesn't hurt.
But everyone else came to her defense and said, "Andrew, leave her alone."
Yeah. And then, so for health ed, we had one of our new health educators started, Cheyenne. She's doing really great. She's been taking a lot of new things up and new projects, and she's been taking over a lot of things that Rebecca or I were doing previously. So it's really great to have her in that role.
Can I say something
Sure.
about her?
Sure.
So it may be on a future report, but we are going to start doing a Red Cross blood drive quarterly here at the health department. And Cheyenne is organizing that. Our first one is December 1st. So we'll probably have more details on that later, but we are excited to be partnering with the Red Cross to do that. So that'll be exciting.
So Andrew, are they going to bring their Red Cross blood mobile, or are we doing that in our exam rooms, or how are we doing this?
We will do that in this room here,
And they'll
Okay,
bring.
in the conference room?
Yeah.
and they'll bring everything.
Yes.
So
Okay,
they'll-
I don't want any blood stains on the carpet now, okay?
There's clues. They can be picked up.
Goodness.
You'll be up here with your flashlight and your luminol.
Yeah, right.
Right.
And then just a couple other things with our environmental public health. One of our environmental public health specialists finished his basic installer's course for septic systems. So we went through that training and just completed that. And that was Kyle. And then Rachel, our other new environmental public health specialist, just started her MPH, and she's being awarded the Edna Del Wienel Scholarship at the Missouri Public Health Association next week. So we're excited for her for that.
Awesome.
That's what's going on.
And she has also applied for tuition reimbursement. Now, she had started, I believe, like on November 1st or something, so she will not be getting, basically what we did was prorated it for her, so she'll only get like, so the reimbursement is half of the tuition to begin with, so she'll only get like a third of the half. But we decided the fairest way for the people who start at kind of weird times is to just prorate it. But she is very thrilled with being able to get tuition reimbursement. And I think all of you know Dustin has just started courses, and all he does is whine about all the homework, all the studying he has to do, and the fact he hasn't been in school for so long, and it takes up so much time.
Yeah.
And that's why you can't get his steps in, because, we are also doing a step challenge right now through NPR, our insurance company. So,
And right now, it's 9,000 steps a day that we all have.
9,000 is hard, especially when it's raining outside.
Yes.
Maybe you can listen to like a lecture.
Just put your watch on a mechanical arm next to your desk.
Yeah, like
Pendulum.
Well,
multitasking.
Ian just puts his on his dog, so that's
Oh,
how he gets all
yeah,
the
that's
stuff.
hard.
So busy work.
Yeah.
This is being recorded.
All right.
Any questions?
Sounds great. Way to go.
Thank you for that.
So as Andrew kind of alluded to, we have begun our discussions for our drive-through flu clinics here in October. Our dates are going to be, last year we started doing it during the Harvesters drive-through, trying to get those high-risk people their free flu vaccine. So we'll be doing it during the October drive-through.
And
And
that's gonna be posted on the website.
yes, we'll have
already.
we have flyers made up for it, so it'll be.
The communication to me was they were trying to plan their October or plan when to get these taken care of
Yep.
versus making an appointment here. I said, I'll find out.
Yep, so yeah, that'll be,
Dustin, when we get those, can we just send them to all the board members?
yeah, I'll make sure we get that sent out to them. So, so yeah, that'll be the first one. Then that following Monday, Columbus Day, we'll be doing a second one. That one we'll be doing from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. That way, try to get people like in this area who are kind of getting off work and try to hopefully get a bigger turnout than we've had in previous years. We thought that would probably be the best time because, we used to do it at Columbus Day out at the middle school in Platte City, but they're now all in session. So we're hoping that, with kids getting out of school a little bit before then, parents beginning off work around that time period, they can come through here and hopefully get a bigger turnout than what we had in past years. So those would be our two big drive-through food clinics, and we'll be operating them here similar to how we do our Harvesters events monthly. So those should hopefully go through without any big hitch on that. Also prepared for our VFC liaison. So she kind of just as our point of contact for our VFC program. They do each year like a VFC 4-in-1 training to get like providers onboarded and kind of remind them of all the different things you need to do prepare for VFC. They were looking at additional sites, so I'm happy to announce that we'll actually be hosting one of those teachings here in the spring. So super convenient for our staff because they can just walk down the hall and be able to participate in that. So, and then we get to show off the building, which is always really fun to do as well. Also, as you see, I have a student here, but we also have students from Park Hill High School and Park University who have been starting here. I've been working on trying to coordinate their schedules and Park Hill especially, they're here about 4 to 5 days a week for a week at a time. So I wanted to make sure that they get experience like every single division within public health, so they get a whole encompassing idea of what we actually do here. So far, the response has been overwhelmingly positive. They've all really enjoyed what they've seen here and learning about everything we do. So I think it's going to be a really great program having them in here and learning more about this.
Is that something, Dr. Kingsley, that you had someone had connected with you from?
Yeah. So my daughter took the pre-professional class in high school, and I think Park Hill South sends their kids over to Park Hill as well to do that. And I have a contact person that would have the high school students hang out with either physicians or whatnot, and they asked me to come in and give lectures to the kids at the school. So I can get you a contact person for that or whatever, but I think it's great that these kids are coming here and seeing what public health's all about. I think that's a great way to go. So
That's a great program. They came through our clinic at St. Luke's even, which was tough on them. I'd say, did you eat something before you come? Don't come here hungry. No, not a good day for you to do that.
and they don't just do it for medicine or public health. They also do it for like business and stuff too.
And then there's like 3 or 4 different professional studies programs they operate through Lead Innovation Studio. So we're glad to be, we've been partnering with them for years. One of the things we did was provide 98 TB skin tests for the students who are in this program. One of the requirements for them to be able to do their clinicals and attend all these hospitals and clinics and facilities. So we've had a partnership with them for years, so we're glad we can expand on that and do a lot more.
Hey,
so of course, the big
Can I interrupt real quick? So speaking of high school and then talking about the blood drive and such, I would get a hold of those people and maybe even the A+ programs and see if any of the high school kids want to get some volunteer hours helping us do the blood drive stuff. I'm pretty sure there'd be a lot of kids that'd be interested in helping out.
If you're brainstorming, you might also talk to kids who are doing any kind of media work, and if they want to come in and they could do like some tours for YouTube, they could be put up as educational items that, here's a basic tour of and program for, but throwing out ideas. And
I think the more foot traffic you get with these high school kids to come in, the greater chance you might have future employees down the road.
And that's our big goal, is like getting people interested in knowing what public health is and engaging with them, and trying to get as much word of mouth of public health out there. And we need more leaders in the future, more employees, so that's the best way to recruit. And of course, being August, our biggest time of year for back to school shots, so got to do a lot of those. Our numbers are kind of down a little bit as opposed to previous years. It is a pretty consistent thing across the metro and the state. They have seen decreased numbers of students coming in getting their back to school shots. Exemption numbers are increasing while vaccination rates are declining. So something we're continuing to monitor and help try to combat. Got a few comments from SWOPE. So I didn't get their actual surveys in, but they did have a few different comments from their visits. Pretty consistent with them. Most of them really love Zara and the services they provide here. Didn't really have anything too negative to say this month, so that was a good response. Their numbers were a little bit down from what they were kind of wanting to, but nothing too significant from what we've seen in past years in family healthcare. I will note that next month it's going to be a little bit off because that will be the transition period where we didn't have any family healthcare, and then before they're able to start up their services. So we're almost going to have a year's worth of data here starting in October. So the November board meeting, you'll be able to see kind of how they're doing each year compared to themselves. So
Did we get I'm just seeing this person that didn't get their medicine at the pharmacy, do we know any more about?
I don't have any more information on that. I tried to follow up, but I don't have anything. I can try to look more into it.
Maybe it just was sent to the wrong pharmacy?
Numbers.
Okay.
Any other questions for our board?
So Rebecca couldn't be here today. She had a family vacation that was planned before she got this role and didn't realize she was gonna miss the board meeting. So we hired her.
Oh, wait a minute. People,
71%.
So I usually give
yeah.
people a little bit of grace. Taylor's hardcore.
Yeah, I guess so. Well,
Can't imagine going on.
We
a
need to
family
move into
vacation
closed
and
session.
this.
Yeah.
Golly. Kind of
Tim's-
crazy.
I agree with Taylor.
What? Are you kidding?
So this month we jumped from 50% to 71%. I think the graph on the copy that you were given was the old graph. So this is the updated one, if you see here, but we're at 71%. So we're getting really close. We've got domains 4 and 5 and 7 completely done. And we're getting close on the other ones. Like I said, the largest thing we have left is just finishing up the plans and the policies. So we're chugging along.
is there anything this board can do to assist in the finishing up of this product?
I mean, I can't really think
Do
of
what she wanted to do to Rebecca, just say, hey, Taylor, you're fired if you don't get it done. That might light a fire.
Until the end of December, I don't think I want to do that.
I
No,
think,
but in all seriousness, I mean, it sounds very self-serving to make this statement, but I think, everybody has seen the exhaustive work everyone has been doing.
Yeah.
It's tedious. It's not lost on us, if I can speak for everyone. And as there's a crunch coming down, if there were unbudgeted items or resources you needed, this was an opportune time to try to say, don't struggle too much, or if you need some help, or if there's something we can do, we're interested.
Yeah,
Or at least I am.
we really appreciate that. Like I said, we have a few people that are doing some work on the policies and a couple other things that are mainly former interns and a couple other people.
And I
So
think
we have like hired them to do some part-time work, and so that's been really helpful, and they've been getting some stuff done for us, so that has been helpful. Rebecca's been doing a really good job of just pushing everybody and getting some of the stuff done.
And I think your idea about other accredited places,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
yeah, that'll be good
So
to.
that's always something Andrew says is, have you looked at other examples? Have you talked to other health departments, got an idea of
And that'll
what
help
they've
too.
done?
So just to expand on what Susan's talking about for the benefit of everybody. So on some of the policies, one of the things I always like to do is just get copies of everyone else's who has submitted. And we maybe didn't do as good of a job on the front end as we could have. So we have hired a PRN person who was a director at another health department, no longer has that position. But she is out there connecting with all the accredited departments in Missouri. She knows all the other directors because she was one. And so she is getting all of theirs. So we can just look and
Yes,
see, basically we're not copying per
No,
se,
no,
but we
you're not
are looking
reinventing
to
the
see,
yeah,
this is how they kind of approached it. This is their backbone. This is their framework for how they did it. And it just makes life a lot easier when you're not starting with a blank page.
yes,
Not reinventing wheels and that type of thing is always how I like to start. And sometimes it just has it's really helpful to tickle like, oh, we can't forget to do the, oh, they said this. And it's just, so
That's
To
an
your
excellent
point.
way to do things. I mean, why
But-
reinvent the wheel?
But to your point, like, those are the types of things like that are just really helpful for us at this point to just get us past the finish line. So I think it just is getting it done.
Yeah.
And,
with everything else.
Right,
With your
right.
real job.
And
Yeah, yeah.
as we get through the process, I would like to try to set up a meeting briefly to discuss the kind of an after action lessons learned from this, because I think that we all want to be the best health department in the state. And to that end, if we are able to ever help mentor another smaller health department along and or find some way to have a repository statewide for all the policies, procedures, and ways to get accredited. If, as you've been through this process, thinking on the big picture for other smaller health departments, if there was an easier way to set up some kind of a structure or an ombudsman service of how to navigate through this, if we had to hold maybe a course here or put something together, I'm just thinking that keep that in mind, because I think what I'm going to try to suggest we do is take the lessons learned, find a way to parlay that to other health departments that don't have the resources we have.
Right, right. And we've also been giving, so both the state and the Missouri Public Health Institute have asked for people's feedback who are going through the accreditation process. So we have given them just a little bit of feedback as we've been going. But yeah, we were kind of planning on at the end doing some sort of hot wash, and going through all of the things that went well, what didn't go well, and then also some things that we might be helpful, feedback for FAB.
and so Taylor Anderson, who was here last month, who presented the strategic plan, is with the Missouri Public Health Institute, and that's who we had contracted with. So that is one of the things that they are doing. They're acting as consultants for, anyone who will pay them, but to help them get through accreditation. But we actually, Taylor and I talked with her yesterday just about the strategic planning process. We were the first larger health department that she had done strategic planning with. She had done 4 or 5 smaller health departments, but we were the first larger one. When she had started with us, like her PowerPoint slides were just full of words, full of like different things. And like she got some coaching from our team just about how to approach some of like presenting this to our staff, presenting it to the board, and just kind of how to like narrow down the topic and focus. I know last month, as we transitioned from one topic to the other, it was kind of, it didn't go real smooth just because it was kind of an interesting meeting, but she felt like she had learned so much just working with us. So to your point, just working with the team here, she's like, I learned so much that I'm going to be so much better prepared.
Send her a bill.
Well,
Just kidding.
Not the way.
there's a certain part of me that is like, yes, absolutely. But on the other hand, it is just one of those things where she is going to be better able to help others because she was here. Now, what she did for us was keep us on track. What she did for us was help give us that outside influence so we could be able to get through the process and not just be so inside our own mind and give us, some other perspective. So it was super helpful to have that facilitator, because if you don't have it, sometimes you can't get, we don't want it to be the Taylor show or the Andrew show or the Dr. Chafe show.
Right.
You need someone to be like, I'm Switzerland, I'm trying to guide you along the path. But everyone learned from it. I think she may have learned from it more, some really useful stuff is what she told us. So I do think Dr. Chape are educating everybody to be helpful for public health for everyone is one of the things we always try to do.
No, I feel the same way. So, it was just something I thought, if I mention it now, I know it's not technically on the agenda, but mention it now because it's something that we may be in a position to do down the road. But I don't want to lose the freshness of the experience if that's going to be helpful.
Well, it's interesting too, because I had met with someone from Fab and I had mentioned this like big spreadsheet that I created that this graph is just one part of it, but there's a giant spreadsheet with all of the measures divided up by domain and everything. And I had showed it to her and mentioned it to her. And then a month or two ago, they came out with something pretty similar. I think I maybe even sent it to her too. This was a while ago. I can't really remember, but now they came out with something. I'm like, oh, I wish we had that, because a lot of
It's probably based on your
I
thing.
know.
According to Dr. Chape, we should be getting some
Yeah.
copy.
I know.
So send them the bill. Send them the
So
bill.
that's what I'm thinking about. So no, it's good to be there and be helpful for other people. So
And before I forget, just about the survey, because it kind of ties into this, but you had asked about staff, if we've given the staff the feedback about the survey. We always have a staff meeting, usually the Wednesday following this board meeting. And so we pretty much go over whatever we talk about at this meeting.
Mhm.
And so they will be getting, next week, it's actually on Monday, but we will be going over that survey and giving them their kudos for all the wonderful work that they are doing to get that feedback on Monday. So yes, that is absolutely going to be happening.
Is the health department set up on Google for people to post reviews, or are the reviews being posted there as well, or anything like that?
They can, we don't get much.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't get very much. This has been the most we've ever seen.
It may be the best way to get it, because a lot of
Yeah.
people may not, that might, it's not like you're competing with Clay County for customers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. Silly thought process on my part. Okay.
any questions about accreditation or Rebecca's report?
Great work.
Susan, want to give a finance committee report?
No, because we didn't meet.
Okay, so the report is very short.
No,
All right. Quick financial report. Nothing new in the documents. Any questions on anything in there? Any board members?
No question.
Review and approve the bills.
I move that we approve and pay the bills.
I'll second that.
All right, roll call vote. Dr. Kingsley,
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes,
Michael, yes. All right. Fee resolution amendment.
There isn't one, this one.
Okay. The flu vaccine fee proposal.
Yep, so kind of we alluded to earlier, so each year we set up prices based upon what we're charged from the manufacturers, as well as kind of look through what other clinics, pharmacies, and other health systems are doing, and kind of base our price recommendations on that. We also try to give out a certain number of doses each year at these drive-through flu events. So this year we're asking for 300 doses to be provided at no cost to the public at these community events, as well as the prices that we have set below. We'll be offering 3 vaccines we've offered the past few years. So Fluval, the regular flu, our flu block, which is for those 18 and older, and then our flu zone high dose.
Quick questions. When we're setting our pricing, I mean, we have people qualify if they can't afford, right?
Yes,
And what
yeah.
we've got to graduate is back.
So yes, sorry, there's 3 different funding sources we go through. So there's VFC, Vaccines for Children, 317, which is like the adult program for those who are uninsured and underinsured. And then there's, we have our private pay vaccine. People can get it that way, or if they're out of network, some will actually just pay for the vaccine themselves out of pocket and send it into their insurance for reimbursement.
And I think a lot of the pharmacies have contracted with insurance companies to, and Medicare even, to provide certain vaccinations there. Because we've had a few of our laceration patients who were Medicare who had to go to the pharmacy to get their tetanus shot because they wouldn't reimburse the clinic for it. So it's things are changing. So I guess we need to.
So do we not do Medicare here, or we do?
We do.
We,
So, do you?
Hey,
wanna
Dustin,
go?
I have a question. Sorry. Keep talking. I have a question.
This is my month to read
So
them.
how many doses did we order last year?
last year we offered 500 doses. Over the past few years, we've seen pretty big decreases in these drive-through flu clinics. So we based that 300 number upon the last 3 years average. I aimed it up a little bit more. I think it's like 277 was the average, but I like round easy numbers and try to be more optimistic for what we can get. So that's what the
So if we do
on.
300, let's say we do 300 and we need more, is it easy to get more if we need it?
Yes, I can always order more vaccine. The 300 is just like what the health department purchases for like these community
You don't wanna
events.
overdo it. Yeah,
Right.
you don't want to be so.
What
So
do
I
we
think
do with the extra doses from last year? I think I've asked you this question before and I can't remember what the answer was. What we end up doing?
Any unused doses, we get returns back to the manufacturers, send them back and we get like a certain percentage of reimbursement from each dose, depending on how much of your reservation you go over. I don't have the number.
So you don't get 100%.
Wasn't it last year? Didn't last year you had leftover doses and was offered for free at that point?
We tried to get as much as we could. I don't have the total number in my head, but there wasn't a.
We had trouble even getting rid of, I think that.
Really?
So yeah, we had difficulties trying to get, and I think one of the biggest issues we run into in the past few years is like so many other places are offering the flu vaccine and you're getting incentives with it. So like Hy-Vee, you get your fuel savers, like 20 cents off a gallon,
Yeah,
or even higher. CVS and Walgreens have like coupons you can get over once you like spend certain numbers.
A local community member with Ian's Rainbow Flu Foundation.
Yes.
They put that on every year.
Yeah.
So that is why, so Dustin and I had this conversation last year. And so this 300 number had come up basically then. I said, we can't do this anymore. We are going to reduce it and be able to,
Yes.
we're not just going to waste money and because it is, people are going other places just to get the kickback or whatever it is. But
Cindy, what
Well,
would you think?
yeah.
We are a Medicaid or Medicare biller for, we supplemental plans. We're a roster biller, so we're only doing, flu, pneumonia and COVID. So we don't vaccinate for anything else and run it through billing. And then we do two Medicare Advantage plans. We do Aetna and United Healthcare, which are predominantly the biggest, Advantage plans. Every 5 years, we have to revalidate. This year was our year to revalidate. And we had 6 weeks of very much challenged. I think there were some, if I had to guess, there were some staffing issues at the federal level for revalidation and trying to get a live person. So this is like my 5th time I would have done this exercise, and it was a nightmare.
Yeah,
It was,
with all the
we
changes.
were rejected once and had to reapply, but we got it done. Just this week, we got the approval.
Way to go.
so,
Perfect timing, so.
so I don't know if she really explained the like, this was an ongoing thing for about 6 weeks. There was so much frustration, no tears, but it was just a constant, like she's carrying if they call you and you don't answer, then it's like almost starting over. So she's carrying the phone around, she's in the shower with the phone, she's eating with the phone because she just knows that 2:02 in the morning, they're going to call and be like, what's your Medicare number? And that's almost what happened. And then she was telling me one of the people she talked to wasn't very friendly. And then later she ended up talking to the same person, which was almost nice because at least it was the same person that had some recollection of
Previous
a
conversation.
previous conversation, which was kind of funny because usually you don't want to talk to someone you don't really care for, but at least they knew who you were and knew where you were in the process. And they were better than the person that just said, nope, you're going to have to start all over. And so, I mean, kudos to Cindy for sticking with us for the entire 6 weeks. And she just did amazing at getting this done. So good job.
Thank you. Well,
Those
yeah.
patients get their flu vaccine now.
Yes.
So they,
Seniors can get their vaccines and we can actually get bills.
Well, and that was the thing she kept saying. She's like, we're going to have all these seniors that want to get this and they're not going to come here. And they're creatures of habit. And if they can't get it here, they may just not get it. And I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
And like, she really meant, like, she did not want people not to get it because they couldn't get it here. And just the dedication of my team and, so many of my team, but like Cindy, that's what she was thinking about, is I have people that depend on us to provide the service, and I don't want to let them down. That is so awesome apparently she has no issues with letting me down, but then she didn't want to let
That's your issue. In the interest of time, perhaps would entertain a motion on this purchase.
I'll move to authorize the director to set the fees for flu vaccination as presented and to purchase 300 doses of regular flu vaccine for distribution to the public at no cost.
I'll second.
Roll call vote, Dr. Kingsley,
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Michael's yes, passes. And Mr. Director, you'll have some methodology to how you get the fees for that?
Yeah.
Great. That's all. Memorandum.
Yes, so next is childcare sanitation inspections, participation agreement. So this is a contract that we have with the state. It's every 3 years, and it doesn't have a set amount that we get, but basically every time we do an inspection out of childcare, institute or
Facility.
facility, then we get billed, or the state will reimburse us for those. Bailey did mention that since we have two new public health or environmental public health specialists, they are doing their trainings. So this coming year, we probably won't get a ton because when they go and do the training, they go with someone from the state and we don't get reimbursed for those. But we will, it'll probably just be a couple that we get reimbursed for this year, but then the following years will be reimbursed for those as well.
Right. And that's it.
Yeah,
So
so,
we'll need a motion for it. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, we just act as a contractor, so even like if someone complains about a childcare, we don't do that, we refer them back to the state. All we are doing are sanitation inspections, and we're just a contractor.
I'll make the motion. Move to authorize the director to sign the CCSI participation agreement between DHSS and PCHD for the period of October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2028.
All right, if there's no further discussion, we'll do roll call vote. Dr. Kingsley,
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Michael's yes. All right. And we skipped over public comments at the beginning because there was no one here. Do we need to move into executive session?
Now, we
We
do
have
have
one more
a
thing.
couple,
Oh, I think you got a couple other items.
I think the agenda you have has not been updated
Okay.
yet, so we do have a couple other things.
Great. Let's look at it.
Okay, so the other thing was the maternal child health services contract. So this contract we do a little bit differently because it's like through the end of this next fiscal year, but technically we have to make an amendment in order to extend it for one more year. So it's almost the same amount that we got last year, $25,277. And this goes to various things related to mental health, substance abuse, self-harm. Some of it we do like mini grants with the schools. We work pretty closely with a lot of the schools. We do a few conferences and summits with them. And we help train some of the staff so that they can do that social emotional learning training. And then also alcohol and nicotine use prevention.
Okay.
Any discussion? Entertain a motion?
I'll move to authorize the director to sign the maternal child health contract with Missouri DHSS for the period of October 1st, 2025 to September 30th, 2026.
All right, no further discussion, roll call vote. Dr. Kingsley,
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Michael's yes. All right. Any other items that I need
Was,
to?
Employee sense.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So, let me make that smaller. So every May, June, we, at least for the past 3 years, we have done an employee satisfaction survey. And it has pretty much retained the same questions so we can compare. Go ahead and scroll down. So this year is in the red. So you can kind of see we are, and orange is 23 and then the pink is 24. So nothing has really changed too much. So my supervisor and I have a good working relationship. Next one. Management within my organization recognizes strong job performance. Roughly the same going. I am able to make decisions affecting my work. Communication between senior leaders and employees is good in my organization. And basically, when we look at these, at least when I look at it, I'm really looking pretty hard at strongly disagree to see where people are pretty unhappy. Keep going.
Well, if I may jump in, one person is 3%. So
Right,
you
so
have
it's
one person strongly disagreed, 2 out of the 28, and that's why I looked at these, and I remember looking at these the previous year. Just a couple of people who may not be happy, or they may have an experience that we need to pay attention to. But when we're looking at the percentages, I want to put it in context for the other board members that it's talking survey of 28 and this year and 33 last year. Just one person can alter it 3%.
And that's going to be even more evident when we get to the comments.
Okay.
Because you're going to
Yeah.
see a little bit more of what, at least why they're unhappy. Go ahead. So, employees treat each other with respect. Senior management and employees trust each other. Really, from year to year, we're seeing a lot of veering trends. Keep going. I'm satisfied with my overall compensation. I get excited about going to work. Usually I get last when people look at that question. Keep going. I am pleased with the career advancement opportunities available to me. I think as a management team, we talk about that. We continue to look at that and think at least no one strongly disagreed this year, because we are trying to, not a single, that was a 0. So that's better than previous years, but we are really trying to give people tuition reimbursement, more training, places that next step, that interim step. Go ahead.
Actually, Andrew, if you want to go back real quick, I was going to say, looking at that, if you see how the neutrals actually come down and the agree and the strongly agree went up a little bit. So I would say that's actually, whatever you're doing is showing improvement. So keep it up.
Dedicated to my professional development, still another 0 on strongly disagree, roughly the same in the disagree. And again, kind of the same thing that Dr. Kingsley said on the other. Keep going. Most people are satisfied with either neutral or satisfied with their job. Go ahead. Probably some improvement here with recognizing contributions. One of the things that we are trying to do, I think, Dr. Chape, you said something to Taylor just about, her recognition for being on boards and different things. But as you know, over the past year, we have, submitted people for awards. We've submitted people for, tried to get good, seems like little things, but people like being, people like being praised. People like being told they've done a good job. People like being appreciated. People like being told, hey, you are valued and we appreciate you and you do great work. Who knew? But people like that. And we are trying.
Doesn't cost you anything but the truth.
Yeah. And we are trying really hard to continue to do that. Sometimes
when you do your meeting with the staff next week, just make sure you tell them that the board is very pleased with how they're performing. The customer service results were phenomenal. So
I will pass that on. Sometimes I'm a little corny. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but I sat down with a couple of my Jim's like, I've never noticed, but I sat down with a couple of my team. I sat down with a couple of my team and I showed them a video, and it was the old story about the lumberjack, the old lumberjack and the young lumberjack, and they're cutting down a tree and they're having a competition. And the old lumberjack is cutting down and stopping every hour. And the young lumberjack, strong fit, just keeps cutting. And he's determined he's going to win. Well, he ends up losing. He's like, how in the world did I lose? You stopped every hour. He's like, I stopped every hour to stop and sharpen my saw. And that's how I won. I always had a sharpened saw. And some of these things, like taking time to praise your employees, taking time to get that award nomination put in, taking time to have some fun with your team, taking time to build them up, taking time to do a team building thing or whatever, doing that sharpening your saw, you have to do it. Because if you just say, work harder, work harder, work harder, you might actually lose something. Now, Taylor's going to be like, yeah, Andrew, you might want to listen to that. But, I think so much of like these awards and different things, the accolades that the team have gotten, even like that Senate resolution, you could see those folks walking around, their head held high, and they're like, look what I got. For an entire week, they're like, I'm proud of what I do. Now they're proud of what they do every day, but that week was pretty awesome. Go ahead.
How do you feel the accreditation process has affected the employee morale and?
It's tough.
Yeah, it's a tough sell, probably.
It's hard. So it's actually perfect for this slide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So employees in my organization willingly accept change. Yeah, that is a tough sell. And, if I have it all in here, if I know how to do it, why do I need to write that on a stupid piece of paper? If I know how everything works, why do I have to change? Why do we need to have all these discussions? We are doing just fine. Some of those things, that continuous quality improvement and getting it documented, sometimes that is a hard sell. Hopefully when we look at this in a couple of years or 5 years and we start making some longer term changes and improvements, it'll make sense. But right now it is a hard sell. Go ahead.
And it is more things that people need to do in addition to their regular job, but it took a while. I think we're getting a little bit more buy-in now, but
And
change is hard.
just because we want to give praise and want to make sure everyone knows, there's also an accountability piece to it. And so, that's important to me and to the board and to our citizens. Having all these things written down make us accountable to everybody and to each other to know what we are supposed to be doing. And just like this audit, just like every policy and procedure, just like our contracts, we need to know what we are supposed to be doing. And we need to have measures on how we are doing those things. So, I think it is kind of hard because sometimes we haven't always done it quite that way. We have done things always really well, but sometimes not quite the way we are leaning towards doing it. How comfortable are you voicing your concerns to your supervisor? I guess we're skipping
Sorry.
that.
Oh, did you pause? I didn't know.
It's kind of straightened out the curve there. Go ahead and go to the next. I love the first one because it's a direct criticism of me. Morale dropped in the last year due to micromanagement by the director. I'll just let you take a moment to read these. I won't read them all. They have it written, so if you want to go to the next one. And that's all the written comments. So we have looked at this as the management team. We are really dedicated to improving the communication. We are having to work on some things just to make sure our communication channels are working like they should. When we have routine managers meetings, we do need to make sure when we have those managers meetings, those things are being taken back to each division, and each manager and or supervisor is communicating back to their team. We do have monthly staff meetings, and those things, when I communicate those bigger things to all the staff, and we record those, and so those are available to everybody. But a lot of the smaller things that may relate just to one division, those are being communicated from the supervisors and managers to their team, kind of in the smaller groups.
So you've assessed what the common theme here is. You
Yes.
understand maybe how it occurred, and you're taking steps to make this not show up next year.
That's a great summary,
Okay,
and we're working on
I think as a board member, that's all I need to know. The comments speak for themselves, but as a board member, I think I just make sure, all right, we've heard it, you understand it, you got a plan. And the goal is, there will be the next important thing that's the most complained about, next year, and we'll be able to fix that.
And the staff will see this on Monday.
Yes.
They come
You
up with
said
that.
Monday, and I'm like, we always have these meetings on Wednesday, but it's on Monday.
Okay. I don't think we have anybody here. Anybody online? No? Okay. For public comment. Next thing on the agenda is October 16th. And I don't think, when I spoke with Dr. Kingsley earlier today, there might be, do we have anything to go in closed session for?
No.
Great. All right. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Well, I'll just move. I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Okay, I'll second.
All right, roll call, Dr. Kingsley.
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Michael Chaffee is yes, and the meeting is adjourned.
All right. And one thing before you go, Kim, you sound a whole heck of a lot better than you did in the last meeting.